YouTube and welcome to one of my super unprofessional vlog videos. So this is a video that you probably have seen before. It is going to be my book-ish video for the month of January. I'm deciding I'm going to put my TBRs, wrap-ups, hauls, if you can call it that, all into kind of one video per month. As it is currently, I don't really read enough to have several videos a month that talk about books. So right now I'm going to just do what I read in January, my reading goals for 2016, as well as kind of the books that I have acquired, because I actually did buy some books, which is kind of rare for me as well because I work at a library, so I don't buy a lot of books. I just check them out from my work. Without further ado, let's get into my goals for reading in 2016. Oh my gosh, it's 2016. I also have tea. This is actually really excellent tea from a little town in Montana. No, I'm not a tea snob. I went to camp out in Montana, as I'm sure most of you know, and there was a little tea shop in the town, and so on our days off we went to this tea shop. Sage Lavender Earl Grey tea. It's called Coyote Sage. Very good. And it's loose leaf tea, which is usually fine because some of you may know if you follow my Instagram, I have a little ducky tea strainer. I don't know where that is currently, so my boyfriend said that we had a tea strainer, and I think what I used was the tea strainer, but my tea is very fine, so I've got tea particles floating around. It's okay, it's good for your teeth. The sound quality probably just got a load better because my washer and dryer just turned off. Let's get to my bookish goals for 2016. So, as many of you know, I am a decent reader. I read a lot. I read a lot when I was younger and then kind of got back into it a couple years ago. I made a really ambitious goal of reading like 75 books a couple years ago. Really didn't hit that. I think I was a little over halfway to 75 books. The following year I put a goal of 52 books on, and I read 12. And most of them were graphic novels. And I really think that had to do with the books that I decided to read at the beginning of the year. And the books I decided to read at the beginning of the year, I didn't really enjoy. So this year, what my reading goals really are I want to read 30 books. Like a lot of people on the booktube community, I've decided to do like a reading challenge. Now I'm not going to obviously do all of these probably because there's like 52 challenges or 40 challenges, something like that. This year I decided to do the 2016 Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. Here's my little sheet. I printed it out and put it in this notebook. They're all very open-ended, so none of them really feel like you have to read this book. I've been able to find, I haven't picked any specific books for any one of these categories, and yet every single book I have been able to fit into a category. So I'm not really concerned about making that a priority. Another bookish goal that I have kind of started-ish is I've decided I want to read classics this year. I've got so many people who have just loved some specific classics, and I decided that I want to read a book from each of the Bronte sisters this year, as well as a Jane Austen, because I have never read any Bronte or any Austen, which is strange. In the month of January, I read how many books? 3 books. I read 3 books in the month of January. Doesn't seem like a lot. I was pretty happy with that. So the first book of 2016 that I read was a book by Brené Brown. She is a psychologist? I don't remember. She's one of the two. She wrote a lot of books. She's written like 4 books. So I read The Gifts of Imperfection. I don't usually take the lists that say, oh, these are books you should read in your 20s very seriously. Mostly because none of the books on those lists ever apply to me. They're like, read Sylvia Plath to realize you can overcome things. And I'm like, Sylvia Plath was suicidal. I picked it up and read it and found it pretty interesting. I found a little tidbit in each of the chapters. Not all of it is applicable to everybody, obviously, but a lot of it kind of spoke to me in the sense of I'm definitely a perfectionist, and trying to let go of some of the perfectionist tendencies can lead to a healthier and slightly more rewarding life. So I think we all kind of want that. There is quite a bit of like heavy-handed faith talk a lot of the time, which I'm not so into. Second book I read was a book called Sugar Queen, and it was a magical realism book by Sarah Addison Allen. And I personally really liked this book. I thought it was really good. It was like just the right amount of strife and happy ending that I really like in little books like this. The magical realism was interesting. It definitely added something. Like every once in a while you kind of thought about it and you're like, wait a minute, what? After I read Sugar Queen, I decided to pick up another one of Sarah Addison Allen's books, and this time I picked up Lost Lake. Not nearly as good as Sugar Queen, still quite enjoyable, but I think I just read Sugar Queen right when I needed to read it. Another big theme for this month was picking up and putting down books. I picked up and put down so many different books. I thought I would go over some of them. I picked up and read like the first 2 short stories of Bazaar of Bad Dreams, which was highly enjoyable. Very interesting, very well written, obviously. It's Stephen King's latest short story collection. The second book that I have picked up and put down in the month of January is Eat, Pray, Love. And I have kind of mixed feelings on this book. I got about halfway through it, and I was really feeling it in the beginning. Again, though, I found it pretty heavy-handed with the faith and the God stuff, which I imagine is very relatable to a lot of people. Was not very relatable for me. I probably should have realized that it was going to be a little bit heavy-handed in the faithy stuff when, you know, the title of the book is Eat, Pray, Love. I also stopped reading The Thing About Jellyfish, which is a middle grade book, which I had started reading a while ago and I'd really, really enjoyed, but decided to put down because it was making me a little too sad. There are 2 other books in my February currently reading sort of thing. One of them is Broken Harbor by Tana French. This is a murder mystery, and I really like it, actually. It's very good. The second book that I'm currently in the middle of is Jane Eyre. So this is one of the Bronte sisters that I am attempting to read this year. I have heard nothing but like really great, fabulous things about Jane Eyre. I read it's a very easy one to start reading, even though it's very long. It apparently goes by very quickly. So now let's get to the haul kind of part of the video. I have a couple books that I picked up this month, mostly because they fulfilled reading goals of mine, one being this copy of Jane Eyre. And the next couple are over here, and they're pretty editions. So I got 2 of the, I think these are the Penguin Classics versions. This is another Bronte. This is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. The other one is by Charlotte Bronte. So this is a very pretty, it's hardback edition of Wuthering Heights that I figured, even if I don't really like them, they're classics, so they're kind of nice to have anyway, if you're kind of like a book collector, like I kind of am. And the next book that I got in the same kind of edition as the Wuthering Heights is Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. I have not read Pride and Prejudice. I can't even tell you if I've seen an adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. The only version of Pride and Prejudice that I know I have seen is the Hank Green vlog Lizzie Bennet Diaries, which is his vlog form adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. So I thought maybe I'd actually try reading the book. That is going to be, I think, it for my bookish video this month. Let me know what books you guys read in January, if you're doing any sort of reading goals. That is going to be it for this video today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Give it a like if you like bookish videos, or, you know, a downvote if you hate bookish videos. I hate books. I clicked on this video because I hate books so much. Let me know what you guys think, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye!